Good morning. I'm out here with the S14 and I'm going to start swapping the cylinder head out. So I got another used head, which I am actually going to make a video on testing that head out and doing a minor rebuild on that cylinder head. To be honest, I'm really not looking forward to doing this right now because I spent so much time rebuilding the actual motor and turbocharging it. And it ran great for a few days, but then started smoking. But I had noticed that there was obviously oil inside the radiator and water inside the engine. So this cylinder head has a major leak somewhere inside. So I'm going to take it off, take it to machine shop, get them to pressure test it and see if it's actually cracked or if it's super warped. It's my own fault. I should have checked this head before I put it on the rebuilt bottom end, but I didn't. I just put it on top and didn't check it out. Totally my fault. So we'll see how it goes right now. I'm going to start taking everything off. In the past, I've been able to do a cylinder head swap on an NAKA in about 8 hours. But it's going to take a little bit longer now because of the turbo. Obviously, there's more to take off. And also, there's two oil leaks. There's one from the return line on the turbo, which is no big deal. But then there's also some leak somewhere in the front, like front cover area, maybe. So I didn't want to have to drop the pan and take off front cover also. But it looks like we're going to do that as well. So it's obviously going to take longer. So let's start. We have all the IC piping off. This one was really hard to get to, or get off. I mean, it was just really stuck in there because I used hairspray to seal up all the lines. It's a very good trick. Spray all along your IC piping couplings and put everything together. So I'm gonna try to leave that rest of that hot pipe on there and just work around it. As far as everything that you're going to leave on there, go ahead and seal it up. Take some bags, stuff it in there so you don't get stuff in there. And as far as the other IC piping, I'm actually going to wrap up in plastic and put in a bag so you don't have to clean it out when you go to install them again. Manifold off right here. We're just going to leave it inside the car like this and try to push it back as far as we can this way. This makes the whole job a lot easier. As suspected, of course, more milky residue, oil, coolant residue. So, valve cover off, take the cams off, and we can take the head off. Let's get to it. Look at all that watery coolant oil. Oh my god. It's basically just like water. Look at that. So, your cam gears, you shouldn't just let them fall like this. If you were just replacing the cylinder head and not taking off the front cover or oil pan, because this is just not the way to do it. You don't want this stuff just falling down here. But I'm taking the front cover off and the oil pan, so it doesn't matter. Again, if I wasn't going to take the front cover off and the oil pan off, you would actually, once you undo the idler sprocket bolt, you would actually somehow prop this this bolt up and tensioner up also, because if you just leave it like this, it'll fall down and you'll lose your timing on your crank gear. So what you do is you take something that's wide enough to actually fit in between here and spread that tensioner back a little bit, so it actually keeps it up. And also, as safety, it's best to like zip tie this against something like over here so it catches on, so it keeps the chain up. So then when you go to put the head back on, you just set the head back down and your chain will still be upright, so you won't lose your timing gear on the bottom. But I'm taking off the oil pan, so I don't care. I'm actually just gonna let the chain fall down because I'm gonna have to realign it anyways. So I'm having trouble wedging the oil pan out. In the past I've done this with leaving the front sway bar in, but I'm having a really hard time getting it to clear. So I'm actually just going to remove it, just because it'll make it easier to install, because a lot of times it's really hard to wedge this inside here to put the pan back inside. It's actually harder to put the pan back inside than it is to take it out. So it's just a few 14mm bolts holding our sway bar in at these points. So let's do that. The sway bar out of the way, we got a lot more room here, and you can notice now we can just pull this oil pan straight out. It's a lot more easier than trying to mess with that sway bar. And there's still going to be oil in here even if you drain it, so don't dump it forward. Oh god, still got a lot of freaking oil in here, just dumped all over the ground. Nice, nice. Look at that oil coolant mixture. I almost forgot, there is a your ground for your wiring on the back of the head, so don't forget that. You might have two, but I condensed it to one ground point, so you might have one here, or one on the back of the head. I'm very excited to get this head off actually and see where it's leaking from. If you have problems getting it off, rubber mallet, just tap around, try to lift up from the studs. Wow, this head's really on there. There we go. Alright, we can lift our head up. We have our head off, and look at cylinder 4. This is freaking crazy. This looks like cream. Oh my god, look at this. I am surprised this car fired up. This is insane. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. This is crazy. Shit. It might have been the back right here where it was leaking into the coolant. Oh yeah, I mean it definitely was. Actually, yeah, it was definitely in the back of our cylinders, because you see right here it is coming out of this water jacket. Look at that. You wipe it away and it starts seeping out. That is crazy. This cylinder head might be completely done for. So here's our cylinder head turned over. Wow. And this whole gasket was just freaking leaking. And this head must be like super warped. That's crazy. Wow. I did check the block for warpage, and the block is actually fine, which makes me very happy, because I spent a lot of time on the bottom end doing the ARP studs, getting the rods resized and everything. So this is still primo, good to go. And we need to take off the front cover. We have to take off the crank pulley first. So if you don't have pneumatic tools that could get down here, or if you just don't have pneumatic tools, you take a breaker bar, place it on this point right here, and you just barely blip the ignition switch, just so it turns over the engine slightly. So hopefully the camera doesn't fall, and we could show that happening right here. There we go. There we go. Super easy, fast trick to get your crank bolt out. You could do this on any car, and remember, make sure you don't have it in gear also. See, there we go. Bam.